Let me call this meeting to order, please.
Okay, you ready for the roll?
Please.
Ross? Here. Hamilton?
Here.
Taylor? Here. Robinson? Here. Okay. Baxter?
Here.
Harris?
Here.
Gann?
Here.
And Height?
Present.
A quorum is present, sir.
Thank you. If everybody will stand for the prayer and the pledge of allegiance by Mr. Baxter, please.
Let's pray. Truly, Father, we're so thankful for this day and the opportunity to gather as a elected body and as our community, Lord, that we represent to conduct the city business. Lord, we just ask that you would be with each and every one of us as we share our opinions, as we make North Little Rock the place to live and work. Lord, we just ask a special protection over all of our city employees. Just protect them as they go throughout providing the best service they can for our citizens. And forgive us where we failure for asking these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Moved.
Second.
Motion seconded.
On the motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson? Still out. Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
The mayor, we have 11 communications.
Anybody likes to pull any communications? If not, I'll ask for a second to accept and file.
Motion to accept and file.
Second.
File all of them.
Okay. Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Okay, are you ready for the special call?
I am ready for the special call, if you don't mind. Bailey, where are you? Come on up. Let's go ahead and read the special call, please, and I'll convene for a public hearing after that, please.
Okay, so this is an email we received on July 22nd, 2022. To the honorable members of the North Little Rock City Council, the purpose of this email is to advise you that Mayor Hartwick has called a special meeting of the North Little Rock City Council at 6:05 p.m. Monday, July 25, 2022 at City Hall Council Chambers, North Little Rock, Arkansas. The following will be on the agenda. R22-152, approving the home ARP allocation plan and amending the 2021-2025 consolidation plan and for the year 2021 action plan of the City of North Little Rock in regards to the inclusion of allocated Home Investment Partnership Act home grants, and you'll also be scheduling a public hearing. This is sponsored by Mayor Terry C. Hartwick. This is pursuant to North Little Rock Ordinance Number 9079. All council members were notified. Do you want us to read the resolution now?
Let me go ahead and read, and then I'll open the public hearing.
R22-152, a resolution approving the home ARP allocation plan and amending the 2021 to 2025 consolidated plan and the fiscal year 2021 action plan of the City of North Little Rock in regards to the inclusion of allocated Home Investment Partnership Act home grant funds.
I'm going to call a public hearing at this time. Those wishing to speak for or against this resolution, please come forward. And I will now announce Bailey is our new community development block grant person. So Bailey, you're up for a sec.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Bailey Noland. I'm the director of our community development agency. Just a kind of a brief overview about what we're talking about tonight. This home ARP allocation plan, this is some funding from the American Rescue Plan. And we have actually worked with a consultant to put together a plan outlining the ways in which we will spend these funds in accordance with the HUD guidelines. As you may well be aware, they're very specific about how we can use this money. So this evening, we would like to hopefully have your approval of this plan. And once that is complete, we'll then send it along to HUD, and there will be some time that we wait for them to review and approve it. Now, once that is complete from HUD, we'll be back again to give you some more specifics about what we would like to do at that point. But for now, we are fortunate to have this funding, and we're hoping that you will approve our plan so that we can move forward with the receipt of it. And I do have our consultant on the line. His name is James Gillian, so he can speak a little more about it as well as field any questions. He was a consultant throughout the whole process and has a lot more information about the ins and outs of how we put this plan together.
You want to go ahead, Mr. Harris, or you want to hear from our consultant?
The question was, I'm just
Do we have an amount? What are we,
Yes.
what are we doing
Yes, so
here?
this amount is $1,200,771.
Okay, so 2 homes.
And is he on the phone?
Yes, we have
I
him
think
holding on the
the
line.
gentleman has been trying to get here all day long.
Yeah, his flight from Dallas got canceled, unfortunately, so we've got him on the line to
So,
speak briefly.
Can you go ahead and plug him in for me and let him identify himself, please? You got him unmuted, so what's his name, Bailey, again?
This is James Gillian.
James, can you hear us, please?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can.
Yes.
You're on, and if you'll go ahead and give us an update where we are on our funds, and I appreciate it very much, and sorry you couldn't make it here. You had a full house for you tonight.
Thank you. For the record, my name is James Gillian with Jayquatch Planning Group. I'm here to discuss the home ARP funding that you've received. Congress allocated back in June of 2021 as part of the American Rescue Plan $5 billion that could be used for a variety of activities that were designed both to address the COVID epidemic, but also to address the increased amount of homelessness and other things that we were experiencing in our cities. The city of Little Rock, North Little Rock, gets a formula allocation just like under your Community Development Block Grant Fund and Home Program Fund. That's that $1,200,771, and that's your percentage of that $5 billion that was appropriated by Congress. You have basically 4 activities that the funds can be expended for, and as you'll see in the plan, those 4 are affordable rental housing, tenant-based rental assistance, supportive services that range from everything from child care to health-related issues, and then supportive services, and then a final category, which is non-congregate housing. What that means is housing that is of a permanent type, where there is a full unit provided to whoever is benefiting from it, and it cannot be just a shelter that provides day services or evening services. The plan details all of those activities. It also details the city's data that's needed to support our need for the funding as a city. We've worked with about 25 agencies in the city who have lent their expertise, both in terms of providing data, but also, more importantly, identifying some of the priorities and the needs that the community has. From that consultation and data, we've also gotten general public participation in terms of holding a public hearing and allowing the public to voice their thoughts in terms of priorities as well. So before you have the allocation plan, which will support our need for this funding that will be submitted to HUD. Once HUD approves our allocation plan, you'll be allowed to then decide what types of projects and which projects you will actually fund. All funding has to be allocated through an RFP process, meaning once the council agrees upon the activities that they would like people to propose bids on, you'll have a RFP process. Proposals will be submitted, much like what you do with your Community Development Block Grant Program, and then the council will be asked to make a final decision on the individual projects that will comprise the $1,200,771.
Thank you very much. Is there any questions from the council? Yes.
I'm going to move for adoption.
Hang on just a sec. So there's a movement for adoption, there's a second. I won't prolong this, but we will get back to, you're going to actually come back to us after we send this to Washington. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes. Once it's submitted to HUD, and they're supposed to review and make a decision on our allocation plan within 30 days, and then we'll come back to you at that time so that you can authorize the department to move forward with an RFP for those agencies, organizations, and others who would like to bid on these funding.
I appreciate that very much. So right now, sir, there is a motion, a second, to approve this resolution. And if I can, wait a minute, I've got to adjourn this. So is there anybody else that'd like to speak for or against this? If not, I'm going to adjourn this public hearing. It is adjourned. Please call it.
Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Sir, thank you very, very much. I appreciate you very much. Sorry you couldn't make it here. Can we know what airlines? Never mind, I'm just teasing. Bye-bye. Thank you very much. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bailey, I appreciate it.
Thank,
Thank you, sir. Let's move forward with presentations, I think.
Okay. And you have, the IT guys have the video ready to play in the back. So-
Where is Anna? Anna, you here? Come on up. We got a video. So guys, play it if you don't mind, please. Those in the audience, Anna's runs our community gardens. She's
Alrighty,
actually
so
washed her face
we're
today.
here at the St. Joseph Center, and they have something really cool going on. They're constructing hugelkultur raised beds. So hugelkultur is a type of Germanic approach to raised bed gardening that works to release nutrients slowly over time. And so behind us, we have more of a traditional version where the soil is mounded. But over here, I'm gonna show you a little bit more of the contained version. So down here, you'll see that you have your top layer of dirt or soil mixed likely with compost. You can tell because it has that rich brown color. But hugelkulturs essentially start off as a bunch of dead organic materials. So you'll think like stumps or branches. On top of that layer, you layer with leaves, compost, food scraps, and then you top off with topsoil. And again, you can see that the sunflowers back here and a bunch of other native flowers are really healthy and really enjoying that nutrient release from the hugelkultur mounds. So this spring, we were able to partner with Engage AR, which is the State Service Commission, in an effort to host a week-long series of activities and workshops for National Volunteer Week or National Week of Service. So throughout that week, we were able to partner with the St. Joseph Center to host a garden workday and sign painting workshop. We worked with the North Little Rock Parks and Rec Department to host a trail cleanup on the Levy Spur Trail. And we were also able to partner with the Arkansas Dream Center to host a native plant and pollinator educational workshop and to also create flower bombs for distribution around our city. Also during the spring, we were able to work with the Pikeview Earlyhood Childhood Center for a week-long planting class. So we were able to teach the young students there how to sow their seeds and how to maintain and care for their garden bed throughout the summer season. We had a lot of success with that project during fall of last year, and the garden as it stands looks gorgeous. They work together to create their own garden bed signs, and we expect a fruitful production for this summer. This time of the year is often when we see these gardens kind of become reborn again. So they went through their winter period of dormancy, and as we enter the summer season, things are going to be blooming, and our gardeners have been hard at work addressing maybe the challenges that they faced last summer or last year into this summer. So we'll start off with the Idlewild Community Garden. Miss Marcy and volunteers Madison and Shelby have been hard at work expanding their native pollinator garden. Miss Susan over at the Hayes Center this spring has worked to add more raised beds to her gardening on the move or raised bed garden. So Mr. Rodney and his trusted group of volunteers from the Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church have been hard at work prepping their land for their spring and summer season. They've been working really hard to grow an abundance of produce because what's grown at their garden doesn't only go back to the church and their volunteers, but it goes back to unsheltered homes and soup kitchens within the East Broadway corridor of North Little Rock. So make sure to keep your eye out for the North Little Rock Fall funding application. They're going to be due August 15th, and these applications are open to any existing garden in our program or any up-and-coming garden within North Little Rock city limits. So if you or anyone you know is interested in starting a community garden and feeding your neighborhood and fostering those neighborhood connections, give me a call or shoot me an email at my phone number and email listed below. Or you can go ahead and follow us on our Instagram page at NLR Community Gardens to keep up to date with the most recent happenings of our program.
Way to go, Anna. Way to go. Any questions from you? A favor, what do you got there real fast?
Cantaloupe from our Pikeview Community
And it's growing that big with the, y'all been watering a lot? How's the, I guess?
So at Pikeview, we have a timed irrigation system that runs at 5 a.m. and then 7 p.m.
Good.
So twice a day for 30 minutes. So we got that cantaloupe from that garden. We have eggplant from Skyline, squash from our Shiloh Baptist garden, cucumber from St. Joseph, purple whole peas from, I believe, Idlewild, and some basil from our North Heights garden.
I can't say enough about her, guys. Thank you very, very much, Anna.
Thank you.
It's Diane. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so unfinished business, R22-133, Mayor Hartwick.
Please call it.
Hang on. A resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute a real estate contract to sell certain real property located at 200 East 2nd Street, 200 Poplar Street in the city of North Little Rock to Argenta Entertainment Development Management, LLC.
Any questions on this? I'm going to ask for a motion, and I do
Move for
think
adoption.
there's a motion to
And a
adopt.
second.
And there's a second. Now, I
Also-
know we got, so if you don't mind,
And can I first?
please, go ahead.
Scott Hilburn, last week had emailed me another latest version of the contract and said that it was gonna be, that he was gonna forward it to all of you along with the email that set forth, the material revisions from what you all had seen before. So if somebody will make a motion to amend to put the latest version of the contract in, then I would appreciate that.
Make a motion, whatever she said.
Okay, thank you, Ron.
Go ahead, Ms. Ross.
And also, if you could just kind of give us an
Yeah,
executive
I was
summary
about to
of
ask.
the changes.
Okay, and my executive summary comes from what Scott had sent. Because we have delayed this 2 weeks, the expiration date on the contract is now July 29th, which is, I guess, towards the end of this week. On the construction deadline, it had previously been set as July 15th. They have modified that to be July 15th or within 5 months of final permits being issued by the seller to give them more flexibility on when to start construction in case there are issues with closing or with getting permits issued. Lowered the real estate commission from 4% to 3%, and the commission to be split between Nabholz properties and Mid-Arc properties. I think last time, I can't remember, I think it just went to Nabholz, and Greg can correct me if I'm wrong. And then it gave the city, instead of 5 days to get a title commitment, 90 days. And then there were some typos and things that were fixed, and they also sent you all the new rendering.
For those in the audience, hang on just a second. For those in the audience tonight, I know there's many here for different reasons, but this is the property straight across from Simmons Bank Arena. And so just kind of bring you up to where we're talking about.
Now, I was just wondering if Greg could come up and kind of point out.
Greg,
some
are
of
you
this.
here?
Yep, he's here.
Come on up, Greg. And any questions? Like I say, just phrase it to him.
You do have the amendment pending. Do you want to go ahead and vote on the amendment?
If you don't
Yeah,
mind.
did we get a second on that?
Let's get a motion, a second on the amendment, please. Did you hear it?
Yep, okay.
So are you ready to vote on the amendment? Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
I'll
Robinson?
come back to you.
Yes.
Baxter? Yes. Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
I've got Mr. Taylor holding his hand up first, so Mr. Taylor.
Here's my only question, and I'm all for everybody getting paid, but why would we pay at 3.5%, 4% commit, 3.5% or 4% or any commission on this deal? Why would we do that? Because you're representing yourself and your firm, right? We don't have any representation. We don't need any representation. So I guess I'm confused as to why would we pay a commission on it?
Sure. What we did was, we did lower it to 3%, and the reason being is in talking with the city and the way they've had with other properties listed, a lot of them are 6% full commission, and we just put it to 3 that represents the buy side of the commission.
But you're representing yourself.
Yes. It would be similar to if a property, like unlisted property, where a lot of times the seller is going to pay, the commission because they want to sell the property. But, Marius, I'll tell you, for the amount of that commission, we will, one thing we did do is we raised our price a little bit to cover part of that, but at the same time, we're willing to take that off. I mean, we don't want that to be an issue.
If you're going to make that amendment,
Well, I mean, if you build it into the sales price, I'm fine with it. I'm just looking at it from this perspective for myself. If I'm going out and I'm buying a house from an unrepresented seller or a for sale by owner, I'm representing myself. For sale by owner says, okay, I'm not going to pay you any commission. Well, I'm not going to charge myself commission to do the deal. I'm just going to do the deal and get it done.
Ms. Ross?
I think, and I asked Greg when I met with you too, that it's not just you, it's that you brought everybody together. Is that correct? It's
Yeah,
more than
Scott and I are,
it's
working
more than
on
just
behalf
you, and they
of,
brought in other investors into
investors that-
this. So it's not just Greg that owns the Argenta Entertainment company that's purchasing it, correct?
Correct.
Is that what it is? So I kind of understand if you bring all the investors together, I guess that was.
But he has just
Couldn't make-
offered to discount that.
True.
So there's an amendment if he'd like. If you're not, we're going to go forward.
We don't have to amend it. If he, like I said last meeting, I know him, I have a lot of respect for him. He's a great commercial broker. If he's telling me he has it built into that price, I'm good with it.
Okay, where are we?
We need a motion and a second to adopt, if you're ready.
So moved.
As amended.
As amended? As
So moved as
amended.
amended.
Motion adopt as amended?
Okay?
I want Greg to, can he kind of explain to us what
Yeah, all
we're
right,
doing?
you can, Mr.
You can give him your little pointer and he can show us.
I got a new one here
I know you got
somewhere.
a
You have a pointer, huh?
Here you go.
They got
Come
a
here,
new
kid, from
toy.
you, Greg. Wait a minute, I think even Sean's got one.
Oh.
Yeah, look at that. I can do it now.
You
Okay.
just kind of explain the directions and what we're looking at here.
So, let's see here. This is, again, this is the view of, this is the building on Lot C, and then the building that's on the property our partnership owns. This is looking at, this down here is the US Bank building, which is the, so we're looking west.
Is this like
on
if
that.
I'm standing in front of the arena?
Yeah, you're standing in front of the arena. That's technically not the first slide, but I guess it got in the, I don't know how they're organized, but yes, this is the first, I mean, this is the view looking west with the building on the Lot C right here on the left.
That would be on the south side of the property that you're looking
Yeah,
from west. That's
exactly.
what it amounts to. On the right-hand side would be the property on the north
Exactly.
side.
So this right here is the same thing, but this is Simmons Bank Arena. At the very end of the promenade here, you got with the promenade, and you got the property Lot C right here off to the right.
Anything else?
And then
Ms.
this
Ross?
is just
Oh, okay.
another view, angle view of the building that we're talking about with, the first phase, right here, kind of still looking towards Simmons Bank Arena.
And we do have a time frame on this. Ms. Ross?
No, this is great. Are those condos above it or lofts or above that? Is that?
Yeah, we're looking at whether it's condos or loft apartments, or, you could have office space on the second floor. A lot of that's going to depend on how we go. Everything's going to be designed for the maximum flexibility, so.
And you're going to bring everything back to us when it's fine, but what's the time, what was the date on that, Amy? January? Early January?
By the
Okay.
10th, I think.
Okay, got you. All right. Anything else? If not, Ms. Diane?
On the motion to adopt as amended, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Nafo.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
02266, Councilmembers Taylor and Robinson.
All right, thank you very much. Sam, good seeing you, sir.
Did you guys say call it?
Well, we're gonna call it if Miss Elliott is here.
Miss Elliott,
Okay,
are you here?
Looks like they are
I
here.
think
Call it.
Okay. An ordinance granting a special use to allow an assisted living facility within an R4 zone for property located at 720 North Pine Street in the city of North Little Rock, and it is the third and final reading. Is there a new motion to adopt?
So moved. I think the very honorable Councilmember Ross has some questions.
Does she want a second? Okay, thank you.
There's a motion, there's a second. Let's do this and hold off. So any questions?
Yeah, I do have a question. So there's a maximum of 3 people is all that you can have, correct?
Yes.
In your care. And I noticed down here that said, under the fire marshal requirements, it listed something about 5, something if they're incapable or whatever. So there are 3 people. And then it says there also that Andre Elliott and Patricia Elliott, you're to supervise at all times. Do y'all plan on living there?
No.
No, ma'am.
Because in the legislation, it says that you will supervise at all times. Are you going to hire a supervisor to be there at all times? Someone,
The initial opening, I will have someone, my sister-in-law stays right across the street, so I will have someone there.
okay, because this says supervise at all times is in the legislation. That's why I just want to make sure that you
We
understood.
will have someone there for the.
The 3 people that reside there will never be there alone, ever.
Okay, so you have somebody supervise them. Okay.
Initially, it's gonna be me that's supervising.
Either a nurse or a CNA will be overseeing the care.
So they'll be there
I'm-
24/7, 365, right?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
366.
I'm currently a RN administrator over such facilities, so yes, it'll always be someone there.
Okay.
You need
Anything
to-
else?
And Ms. Ross, I think that the way this reads, that Andre Elliott or Patricia Elliott must maintain active supervision. I can read that they don't have to personally do it, but just
Right.
ensure
I just want to make sure that there's someone there supervising at all
somebody will be
times.
there.
Right.
Always.
Because if they need special care, they're going to need someone there with them.
Right.
They don't
Yeah,
need to be
always.
They don't need to be left alone.
Yes.
Okay, that's why I just want to make sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Anything else? On the motion?
On the motion to adopt, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson? Yes. Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
On the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Thank you very much. I
Thank you.
appreciate your patience.
Consent agenda items?
I'm going to I'm going to pull R 22-141 for this time, okay?
Are you pulling it or just holding it?
Hold it, excuse me.
Okay.
I said hold, I meant to hold it. I apologize.
Those words mean different things.
I understand, but I'm holding it this time.
Thank you.
And the
What about
reason why, they
others?
didn't bring up anything to us saying what they're going to do with it, so we'll leave it on here and wait for them to come back, okay? All right, back to it. Anything between R 22-138 all the way to R 22-142? Anybody?
139, if Michael Castron's here for the tree board, I don't know.
He
if
is not here. He's on
not here.
vacation.
Okay, so we don't.
He's on vacation.
On R 22-141, do we need to attach the survey? Do we amend in that survey?
If you want to attach it, then you need to amend it in. If anybody has not seen it, I've got copies to pass around that Ms. Ross wants to.
Yeah, I'd like to pass.
Sponsor just held that, so.
Being held.
I was being
Oh, the
held?
mayor held that.
I held it
That's-
anyway, see what I'm saying?
Never mind.
All right, got you. I held it.
Sorry. I've
Anything
got
else on,
too many
anything on
things.
122-38 through R 22-142? Anybody else?
41.
Okay, so you're good on all the rest? Is there a motion and a second?
Motion.
Is this all in favor, say?
Second.
It
All in
is.
favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
All right, let's go. Thank y'all, appreciate it.
We are now up to condemnations. So you're going to convene a public hearing on the following.
All right, let's do it.
R-22-143, 715 East 14th Street. R-22-144, 3 West Avalon Drive. R-22-145, 4808 Haywood Street. R-22-146, 1304 North Walnut Street. R-22-147, 1600 Orange Street. R-22-148, 512 Dorothy Drive. and R22-149, 2206 East Washington Avenue.
All right, I'm going to convene a public hearing. Those wishing to speak for or against these, please come forward. Seeing none, I'm going to adjourn the public hearing.
Okay, the first one's R22-143. Mayor Hartwick.
Please.
A resolution declaring certain buildings, houses, and other structures located at 715 East 14th Street in the city of North Little Rock to constitute a public nuisance, and condemning said structures, providing a period of time for a property owner to abate said nuisance.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Motion adopted and seconded.
On the motion, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
R22-144. Mayor Hartwick.
Please call it.
A resolution declaring certain buildings, houses, and other structures located at 3 West Avalon Drive in the city of North Little Rock to constitute a public nuisance, and condemning said structures, providing a period of time for the property owner to abate said nuisance.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Motion adopted and seconded.
On the motion, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
R22-145. Mayor Hartwick.
Please call it.
A resolution declaring certain buildings, houses, and other structures located at 4808 Haywood Street in the city of North Little Rock to constitute a public nuisance, and condemning said structures, providing a period of time for the property owner to abate said nuisance.
So move.
Second.
Motion seconded.
On the motion, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
R22-146. Mayor Hartwick.
Please.
A resolution declaring certain buildings, houses, and other structures located at 1304 North Walnut Street in the city of North Little Rock to constitute a public nuisance, and condemning said structures, providing a period of time for the property owner to abate said nuisance.
So move.
Second.
Motion seconded.
On the motion, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
R22-147. Mayor Hartwick.
Please.
A resolution declaring certain buildings, houses, and other structures located at 1600 Orange Street in the city of North Little Rock to constitute a public nuisance, and condemning said structures, providing a period of time for the property owner to abate said nuisance.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Motion adopted and seconded.
On the motion, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann? And Height?
Yes.
R22-148. Mayor Hartwick.
Just for a second, those in the audience now, I know this may be a little strange to you, but Amy, if you explain, after we do adopt these, they have how much time to come forward? Anybody?
They've got 30 days to get in touch with the city attorney's office and to enter into a rehabilitation agreement where they're given a certain amount of time to bring it up to code by, but a requirement of that is they have to post a bond in the amount that it would cost the city to demo it if they don't complete the rehab of the property.
I wanted the audience tonight, Joe, that we just not tearing that we give them always a first, second, and third chance, and that's what I wanted her to explain. All right, let's go forward, please. Yes.
R22-148, a resolution declaring certain buildings, houses, and other structures located at 512 Dorothy Drive in the city of North Little Rock to constitute a public nuisance, and condemning said structures, providing a period of time for the property owner to abate said nuisance.
So move.
Second.
Seconded.
On the motion, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
R22-149. Mayor Hartwick.
Please.
A resolution declaring certain buildings, houses, and other structures located at 2206 East Washington Avenue in the city of North Little Rock to constitute a public nuisance, and condemning said structures, providing a period of time for the property owner to abate said nuisance.
So move.
Second.
Motion, yes. All right, hang on just a second. So you want to come forward, sir, and identify yourself, please? You're talking about R22-149. Please come to the microphone, please.
2206 East Washington is your property? Okay, so come and identify yourself.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my name is, good evening, everyone. My
Say
name
again?
is- I said, good evening, everyone. My name is Elvin Williams Jr.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You notify, you see your property, and we're about to condemn it. Do you know your process you have to go through to save it or anything?
Yes, sir. What it was, I had contractors, it's not like that no more though, but I had contractors there, and we had a young man next door there that robbed both of the contractors when they came over there. I had one over there about May 10th and another one May 25th.
Yes, sir.
And they got robbed, so they wouldn't come back. But unfortunately, the young man over there, he had fatally got shot. So he's not there now. So they told me that they would come back when they get through with a project they're doing right now.
You
Both
know
of
the
them told me.
process you have to go through at this time, sir, if we pass this?
Yes, sir. To get contractors?
No, sir. Amy, you go through it one more time.
Contact the city attorney's office. If the city council goes ahead and authorizes the condemnation of the property, get in touch with the city attorney's office within 30 days. You can find us on the city's website, our phone number, and we'll let you enter into a rehabilitation agreement to bring it up to code. But a requirement of doing that is you have to put up the amount of money that it would cost the city to demo your property in the event that you're not able to bring it up to code within 180 days. And we have timelines set out in our agreement. But if you'll contact my office, one of the lawyers in my office can help you with the process.
Okay, and it's city attorney?
City attorney's office.
Or is there a certain name I need to have?
Ask for Rick Hogan.
That in the first name, ma'am?
Rick.
Rick,
or
okay.
Yeah, we can give you your phone number again.
Yeah, and I'll give you the phone number there. It's 501-975-3755.
Is this a rental piece of property, sir, or did you?
Yes, I purchased about 4 properties over there.
That's
And
what
I'm
I thought.
really having problems over there with the homeless. So I end up having to move in one of my properties over there so I can watch it. I had to leave my home to move over there.
Okay, we're going to try to work with you. I'd like to see properties refurbished, but again, you know the process, so get hold of the city attorney's office and let's go forward with it, okay?
Yes,
And then
sir.
after that, after you do that, you've got 6 months to clean it up. If you don't, all bets are off, okay?
Oh, I take care of it. Yes,
I know
sir.
you. All right.
All
So
right.
just call my office just as soon as you can, and Mr. Hogan will help you with the process, and we'll get you settled so you can get it up to code.
Okay, then tomorrow be fine?
Tomorrow is
Tomorrow be
just
fine.
I call
Thank
tomorrow.
you. I appreciate
Okay,
you.
thank y'all.
Thank you, sir.
Have a great night.
Where we're at now, Ms. Whitney?
So he did speak, and we'll call that the public hearing, so we're ready to call the roll. Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
R22-150, Mayor
Don't I
Hartley.
have to call this separate public hearing?
Yes,
I
but
do.
we need to read it
Go
first
ahead, I
and
was
get a
supposed to
motion.
say, go ahead and read it,
and
and then I'll recall the
Okay.
public hearing.
A resolution approving and certifying amounts of liens to be filed with the Pulaski County Tax Collector against certain real properties in the city of North Little Rock, Arkansas as a result of grass cutting expenses and abatement of other nuisances.
Move to accept and file.
Second.
Not accept and file, move to adopt.
But let me call a public hearing on this, if you don't mind. We have a public hearing, R22-150. I'm calling this for people who'd like to speak for or against it. Please come forward. None hearing this, I'll adjourn this public hearing. Okay.
On the motion to adopt, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Ordinances, O2268, council members Robinson and Taylor.
Please call it.
An ordinance rezoning certain property located at 1120 Rockwater Boulevard in the city of North Little Rock, Arkansas, from R2 and R4 to C6 zoning classification by amending ordinance number 9263.
I'm going to have to call a public hearing on this, or we want to get to the third reading?
We need motions first.
Move to suspend the readings.
Thank you.
Is there a
Second.
Okay, so you want to go ahead, we'll go ahead and suspend the readings,
Okay.
and then it'll be on its final reading. Okay, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Now we need a motion to adopt.
So move.
Second.
Thank you.
Now I'm going to call the public hearing.
Yes, sir.
Let me call this public hearing R2268. There's going to be a public hearing with those wishing to speak for or against it. I still recognize the first one to the microphone. Identify yourself, please.
Yes, Thomas Pownell with Thomas Engineering, representing the property owner Shoreline at Rockwater LLC. To be clear, the amendment changed our zoning request, is that correct?
Well, nobody has moved to amend it yet.
Okay.
So I think that.
Right
I
now,
have-
where we are is just a public hearing for or against.
Yeah,
As
I
it
mean, but
stands
we
right
can-
now.
We can do the amendment and
You want to
then
do
have
the amendment
public
then? It's up to you,
hearing
Mr. Taylor.
Sure, we'll do the
Right,
amendment.
so that everybody knows what it is we're talking about. And I've worked with Mr. Taylor and talked with him about what he wants to do.
Bring it up on the screen if you can,
So,
Sean, back
I'm
there. Oh, there you
gonna,
go.
if y'all will all pass this around, and if you don't mind, just give me a second, and I will explain. Basically, instead of rezoning
sir.
everything to C6, just the small R2 parcel will be rezoned to R4, and what is currently R4 will remain R4. Correct, Maurice?
That is correct.
I mean, Councilmember Taylor.
That's quite all right.
Okay.
So those in the audience tonight, one more time, my city attorney, we're passing around. So what we have is property located at, and Sean, I mean, give me a better picture of a real picture real fast if you can. There's one that we're trying to amend to go from R2 to R4. It's a little slither there, okay? The next one to it, to the east, is already zoned R4, and to the east of that is C6. Can you bring it back up, please?
We lost you, Sean.
He's trying.
He's trying.
IT.
So what's R4 now would remain R4.
There you go. So again, like Ms. Phil says, what is there now is C6 will remain C6. What is R4 will remain R4. What Mr. Taylor is put amendment on the floor saying there's a small slither there on that'd be the west side, if I'm not mistaken. It's right there where those trees are. Can you go back to that small slither there, Sean, and just let everybody see exactly how much land we're talking to? That'd be taken from an R2 to an R4, if I'm not, is that what I'm saying, Mr. Taylor?
That's correct.
So if you can go backwards for me, Sean, if you can. I know you are. You did pretty good this afternoon.
Hit escape.
Well, here we go. There's the slither we're talking about, is that correct? That'd be on the west side of the property.
Otherwise, everything's staying as is.
So, back to it.
With the amendment, which, Councilmember Taylor, have you moved for the amendment?
Not yet, but I will.
Not yet. If somebody
I'm ready.
will and second it, then we'll,
So moved. If that's the will of the applicants.
Yes, please.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion, a second.
So your amendment is substituting what was filed with what we had today.
right. And then we'll clean it up to take all the mark-throughs out, but that's just to show the changes.
Well, right now, I have a public hearing on the floor also.
Well,
There's
I think you
amendment,
want to
so I want
amend it.
I want to
and then
amend it and go
public
forward,
hearing.
then we'll go to
Yeah.
public hearing. All
So
right,
you guys
please.
ready for the roll on the amendment?
Ms. Ross.
Could you explain, because I know there was a question, how can we do this without re-notification? Can you explain about the downgrade of the zoning request?
Say that again.
Well,
You're talking about the
the
amendment.
original legislation
I know.
was for C6.
Right.
So C6
I mean,
is a
R4,
heavier
sorry, but-
use. And so we're able to downstep to a lower use without notifying because it's a less intensive use.
Want to make
So
sure
the
that everybody
R4 would be less
understood.
intensive than any commercial that could go in there.
Right, okay.
Where are we?
I don't know. Are
We got a
ready?
motion to amend in a
To
second.
amend,
It's on
and
the
there was
floor.
a
The
second.
roll will be
Are you ready
called.
now?
The roll will be called. There we go, on a motion, a second.
Okay. Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Now you have a public hearing.
I'll call a public hearing. For those wishing to speak for or against this,
Have the list.
and I'm about to, I've got them all here in front of me, but I've already got somebody at the counter here. Please identify yourself, please, ma'am.
Lisa Farrell, I'm one of the members of Shoreline at Rockwater LLC, and there are other members in the group. I'll be very brief. We appreciate this opportunity to compromise with the neighbors. We listened very closely to the residents when we had a neighborhood meeting, and we have also met and spoken to a lot of the neighbors individually, including John Owens, Adam Day, I see the Hoeys, a variety of folks. We heard over and over that the main concern was C6. In fact, Mr. Day contacted one of our members, Jimmy Moses, last week proposing this solution of keeping it R4 and amending this one piece. We appreciate Maurice Taylor, this compromise that he has brought forward and was proposed by others will allow us to move forward with the project and the Rockwater vision. We would appreciate your support, and we're available, of course, for any questions, but I won't take up any more of your time. Thank you very much, and we appreciate you.
Mr. Owen.
Hello, Mayor, council members. So good to see all of you again.
I know.
Well, I'm addressing you today as the president of the Residents of Rockwater Property Owners Association, and we originally had passed a resolution opposing the rezoning to a C6 of the larger portion of the property. We really did, in our resolution, did not address the piece of property that's left that's being zoned from R2 to R4. But I will tell you that this change does address our resolution against the rezoning and therefore satisfies the original resolution of the Property Owners Association.
Thank you.
Any questions?
I have some, if you don't mind, real fast, I'll beg differ if you don't mind. Can I have anybody out there in the audience who is saying that what Mr. Owens is saying, please stand, if you don't mind. You're agreeing with what he's saying, please stand up, if you don't mind. Anybody out there? If you agree with what Mr. Owen is saying. Can you not hear me? What I'm asking, if those in the audience tonight will agree to what Mr. Owen is bringing to us, that we'll leave the C6 alone, the R4 will stay where it is, and the R2 goes to an R4.
She asked if she agrees in part.
I'm about to get to that too, if you don't mind. So all those agree. Now, here's what else I'm asked. Have a seat. Anybody in the audience tonight that has something other than what Mr. Owen says, you can come to the microphone and have your 3 minutes, okay? So if you're ready, come on up. Identify yourself, please.
Good evening. My name is Adam Day, and I am a resident at Rockwater. The residence is at Rockwater. I'm at 1524 Rockwater Lane. I'm an architect, and we've had numerous discussions as a neighborhood about this project. I guess this compromise or resolution is something that has come on fairly recently that I don't feel like a whole lot of people have been fully versed on. I think some people are hearing it for the first time tonight or either Sunday or earlier today. So I think because this R2 was not even included in the original notification by the planning department sent out, there was quite the stir that happened at the Planning Commission when this R2 was not included in the original packet, which kind of created an expunging of the vote, and therefore we had to re-vote on including the R2 sliver. I think proper notification, even though we are downgrading it, there has been quite the flip-flop here of navigating how this property is going to get developed. And so I do think it's difficult to say that everybody agrees on this when people are still just trying to figure out what else is being asked of
Mr.
them.
Taylor?
So help me, Counselor. So that R2 sliver, it was included in the original package as C6, correct?
It was, and I was not at the Planning Commission meeting. I watched part of it. Is it Mr. Day?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. I think that he pointed out, I know he had had previous discussions with the planning staff and had not indicated to them at that time that he knew that that was R2. And at the Planning Commission revealed that that sliver was R2, which is why that this was reset for a public hearing for tonight. And the neighbors who were entitled to notice were given notice, and it was republished in the paper so that we would have a new public hearing since the R2 was not included in the packet for the original Planning Commission meeting. I have talked with the property owners as well as you and as well as Sean about amending this. The City Council has on occasions when you all have had zoning matters before you amended those zoning matters from the floor for the zoning to go from a more intensive to a less intensive use, which, as Mr. Spencer said, R4 is less intensive than C6, and so that's why I felt comfortable with telling you, as well as Sean, as well as Ms. Farrell and Mr. Jackson, that I don't have a problem from my role as the city attorney with this amendment, since it's less intensive than the C6.
Mr. Day?
Well, I'd like to present, I guess, the original notification and then the one that got sent out post that meeting, just so you can understand, like, the potential confusion here for people in the audience. You know, I let them speak for themselves, but I do think proper notification has been very complicated on this rezoning application, which at this time, just making this change right before the meeting or right before everybody was prepared to speak makes it a little more complicated for people to, you know, process their disagreements or process this request, I should say.
Gotcha.
So I'll.
Anybody else? You can pass those out. Yes, ma'am. Come on up.
Sir,
This is a
you have
public
to go
meeting
back to the
and you can't
podium.
just
You're not.
talk to them.
Yeah, thank you. So are you through? If not, I've got somebody else who'd like to speak. You, huh? That's all right. It's a public hearing. It's okay. Come on.
Is Mr. Day, are you through?
Yeah, I mean, the points about C6, I guess, are no longer necessary.
And Mr. Day is signed up to speak on another
I've
piece
got
of
him down here
legislation,
also. Yes, I do.
So he'll come back for
It's
that
on
one.
74. I do.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Day. Stay. Yes, ma'am. Identify yourself, please.
Hi, my name is Debbie Boyd, and I wasn't planning on speaking, and I can tell I'm going to throw up. This, I understand that we're discussing zoning, rezoning that little bit. Would it be possible to put the real picture
Yep.
of the real,
Sean?
the real photo?
We can, yes, ma'am.
I have faith in you, Sean.
Okay.
You like that one, or we got one closer? That's the gardens. That's the porches, okay. You're fine, cut in front. Yeah.
One street, Rockwater Boulevard, is between us and all that property that is under discussion tonight.
Yes, ma'am.
300, I really do understand this is about zoning. I'm jumping ahead. I don't want 360 apartments across from my house. And that's pretty much my argument. I have no solid argument. I'm not an architect or a lawyer, so it's.
You stay there for just a sec. Excuse me, Terry, you go ahead and then I'll ask the question.
So, ma'am, you do understand, regardless of what we do tonight, they can build the apartments.
Why couldn't there be houses? Why can't they be
Oh,
houses?
I mean, I don't know, but what I'm saying is, based on their current zoning, they can build apartments already.
But I thought it was R right now.
No, ma'am.
It's, part of it's R4, part of it's R6.
No, C6.
I mean, I'm sorry, C6. Yeah,
And
I know.
R4 is multifamily, which
Okay, how
apartments are
about
allowed.
not as many apartments?
Yep, that's up to the developer. But we can't restrict how many apartments that they decide to put on their property.
You could vote against doing it.
Let me do this.
Even if we voted against changing that one little piece of land to R4, they can still build. If we do nothing, they can build the apartments.
They don't have to ask us.
They don't have to ask us. If we do nothing, they can build the apartments.
Ms. Ross?
No, I just want to say, it's called by right. By right, they can do what they want. It's called by right. They can do whatever they want because they have the right to do that on their property. And the only way to stop them from do that was to purchase the property. We had another apartment complex going in Lakewood, did the same thing that the neighbors didn't want, but it was already zoned R4, and there's absolutely nothing that the city can do. We can't change the zoning. We're taking away, their property basically when you say you can't build what you want to. Just like on a R1, or your house, I don't know if it's a zoned R1, but, if we came in and told you, you can't build a house there, it's your property and it's zoned by right. So they can build what they want.
It just seemed like this happened. I know it's all been in the works. It just seemed like it was
Let me kind of make it a little clearer for you, if you don't mind.
Oh, I understand.
Well, first, though, this was zoned, if I'm not mistaken, 2019, is that right, Sean? Yes, I'm trying to get That's what I'd like. So what it was already zoned C6 and R4 and R2. As Mr. Taylor said, the only reason we're here right now, they're trying to change that slither or piece of property from an R2 to an R4. Other than that, it's what it was.
Thank you.
Is everybody and I know, yes, ma'am, you want to come talk? Come on up, please. Thank you, ma'am.
My name is Phyllis Glaze. I'm a resident at the residences at Rockwater. It's actually just the reverse. What we're talking about, we know the C6 and the R4 piece are according to the compromise, going to stay the way they are. We are trying to avoid the sliver, if we could have the actual picture.
Go back, Sean.
That's our only buffer, and it contains the second largest magnolia tree in the state of Arkansas. And we are trying to save that tree. I don't know whether the Bright publications and notifications, I'm not an expert on it, but I do know that they're trying to bring the 2 to a 4 to make it all part of the complex, and we would like our beautiful homes to have that one little piece of buffer. I'm sure they can work around it, and again, that magnolia tree is very old and very beautiful. That's all.
Stay there. Ms. Taylor?
Ma'am, there's already processes in place for anytime you're putting up a commercial development next to a residential development, based on our zoning laws, there has to be a buffer, something to separate those two uses. So I'm sure the applicant, and I'm sure that when they come back to subdivision or whoever has to look at it is going to require them to have some type of buffer between those houses and.
I'm very aware of the landscaping ordinance. I'm a commercial developer myself.
Okay.
I've been in business 46 years. And that buffer, the beautiful old foliage will be demoed and then replaced with 2-inch caliper trees, immature trees that will take 10, 12, 15 years to look like that, and you'll never replace that magnolia tree. So we're just trying to save a sliver that we yield on the rest of it.
Well, but here's the and you probably already know this. They already own the land. If they wanted to, they can already cut the trees down if they really wanted to.
They couldn't cut the trees down unless they rezone it.
No.
No. That's not
They already own the land. If they want to cut the trees down, they can cut them down.
Their property.
Period.
Mr. Hamilton?
I was going to echo that. I was going to ask a question that.
Then I didn't know.
Hang on. What'd you say, ma'am?
I'm trying to get Leah, come on up here with me.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mr. Hamilton.
My question for the city attorney, or for Sean, is if someone wanted to go in there and build, and it doesn't even matter, they own the land, can they cut all those trees down if they want? Without asking us?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That is true.
Excuse me. Because it's a rezoning.
Yeah, no, because there's a development.
Okay.
So development requires a buffer.
Okay.
That's what saves the trees.
But right now, if there's no development there,
Is the buffer space or is the buffer trees?
It could be either one.
It's a distance. So if the owner wanted to cut those trees down right now, they may do so, correct?
Sorry.
But if it was a requirement in the ordinance or in the development plan that says you have to leave the existing trees as a buffer, then those trees has to stay.
And the issue here is there's a change in elevation. So for them to put a wall in, some of those trees will have to come out, and they'll replace any of them back with a 2-inch tree.
You're fine. Stay there. Let me identify this lady. Ma'am, if you identify yourself, please.
Leah Charlton,
Oh,
1520.
Ms. Charlton, how you doing, ma'am?
Yes,
ma'am. Keep on
hi.
going. Yeah, you're fine.
I appreciate the opportunity to speak, and I appreciate all the time that you all have put into this. I know it's been extreme. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I and many, many, many of us were not consulted when there was this deal made with our POA. And only 5 members of our POA actually voted in favor of this compromise. And 2 of them, 1 voted no and 1 did not vote. And none of the rest of us, to my knowledge, were consulted. So to say that we all agree to this is absolutely not true.
I saw that when you all didn't stand up. I saw that.
Okay. And if I get that she owns the property that is R2, I understand that. But if we give it to her and make it R4, there will be her building is right where that tree is. And that tree is a minimum of 160 years old. I can give you all the statistics on that tree. It is definitely the 2nd largest, and the Department of Agriculture has extensively examined it. It is irreplaceable and way beloved, okay? Not only that, but some of those pictures that you have are really good that show the buffer, and they are all beautiful trees, and it is a tiny amount of land. It is an upside-down funnel, and where the magnolia tree is the wider part, and that is the part that they want the most. It's exactly where the edge of their building is going. It would devastate the buffer if we rezone that R4. It would devastate it. And of course, the tree will be ruined. And not only, maybe they don't cut it down, but I believe they will. But there has to be what's called a tree protection zone, which means you don't park a car on it. You sure don't put a 30-ton excavator anywhere near it. And when they attempted to save the pecan trees in the area that is now called the porches, they completely forgot about the TPZ, and now those trees are dead. The magnolia will be dead in 2 to 5 years if they do not take care. I can give you the expert's name and his number on how to save this tree. Now, the buffer is also irreplaceable. None of us want our $1 million homes, I'm sorry to be selfish, right up to a big fence and a big parking lot. We don't want it. And I am sorry, that is a reasonable request. She does not need the tiny piece of land we're talking about. You have seen it. I mean, I am happy. I have an entire speech that is only 3 minutes long. I am happy to give it to you.
Well, can I ask you one question?
Yes.
Is it any different than what you've done for the last 3 minutes?
No. Yes, some of it is different.
Oh,
Some of it is different.
Well, hang on just a second. Mr. Taylor.
So here's my confusion with the tree, and please help me with this. So
Stay there. You're right. You're fine to stay there, please, ma'am. Go ahead.
So I have a tree in my yard, and I want to cut this tree down. Can I cut the tree down?
Yes.
So they already own this land, already own it, and it's R2. If they want to go and cut the trees down, all of them, can they do that?
If they hadn't presented a development plan, yes.
But they cannot put their apartment building on it. If it stays R2, they can't do that.
But did you hear what he said? If they hadn't presented a development plan, they could have already cut the trees down.
I doubt they want to do that. It's very unpopular unless they want to put their apartment building on it, and it is that important to them that they do so, which is why we must not rezone it R4.
But the rezoning of the R4 is probably what's going to save the trees.
Well, you're talking about your own ordinances that their site already violates. I put it in the email that the city clerk was going to read, but I can read it to you if you like. Would you like me to do that now?
Go ahead.
Okay, the developer site clearly indicates that they intend to disregard the city screening and landscaping ordinance paragraph 7.2.4 requiring buffers between dissimilar uses. Specifically, 1, tree removal in the buffer is not allowed. paragraph 7.2.4a. 2, the required buffer should not be used for parking, paragraph 7.2.4b. 3, the required buffer area depth shall not include any easements, paragraph 7.2.4c. So their site plan clearly violates all of that, regardless of what it's zoned. If it becomes part of their development, they will seek variances on all of this, but it already violates it.
Questions? Anybody else for public hearing? If not, I'm about to.
I would like to say some other things, if that is all right with you. Do you all,
You gotta go through the process. You have much time more you need, please.
I will need very little more time, I
Very
promise.
little more time, I'll give it to
Very
you, and I've
little
gotta
more
keep it
time.
going, okay, please?
I just have one thing to say about the R4 parcel, which I absolutely am in favor of them developing. However, their contention that the development must be completely surrounded by a 6-foot-tall fence for safety's sake is flawed. And if you will, on the packet of information, did you pass it out?
Yes, she did.
There is a letter in there, and if you turn to page 3, paragraph 7, item C, the letter that they received after the Planning Commission meeting clearly states, no fence shall be located in front of the buildings. And also, if you keep flipping, you will see that Moses Tucker is capable of building apartment buildings that are not surrounded by 6-foot fences. This is not what we wanted in our Southern living community. We all have front porch friendly homes, and that's what we want for this development. It is absolutely possible. None of us experience any crime. The one crime, I mean, that's not true. We have some crime, but I lived for 26 years in Hillcrest. I can tell you the crime there is so much worse. The only crime I have experienced since living there in 2018 is my Halloween wreaths being taken. I have never even had a package
I got
taken
you.
off my porch.
I've got to move this forward if you don't mind. I apologize. Yes, sir. Next.
Okay.
Please, thank you. I do appreciate it, but there's a 3. Yes, sir, please.
My name is Edward Hoy. I live at 1308 Rockwater Lane. We're 2 doors down from the proposed development. First, I want to say I appreciate the efforts on the compromise. You know, I really appreciate City Council working on our behalf, you know, to listen to us and respond. But what I'm really worried about is I came tonight prepared to talk about C6 zoning. So, you know, throw that speech away, I guess. So the question is the R2 versus R4. Is public notice required for R2 to R4? Did we establish that already?
We have discussed that public notice was given to rezone that from R2 to C6. R4 is a less intensive use, and so since it is less intensive, it is a lesser use, then it is better for people who oppose it than if it had stayed C6.
So in other words,
the
notice
public
has been given.
requirements have been met.
Okay. And I just want to say that my household, we're not necessarily against the development. You know, we welcome additional folks down there. We welcome more density. We just want to see it done right. You know, we want to make sure that everybody's been notified about the rezoning issues and that they've been notified legally per the city ordinance. The other thing is, you know, that lot was subject to a bill of assurance. It's the 6 lots there at the end, plus lot 7 is the upside-down funnel. I was given a bill of assurance when I bought. Everybody else was given a bill of assurance. And when I did meet with Lisa about the property and said, you realize this is subject to a bill of assurance, and the bill of assurance indicates that it can only be used for single-family homes. Well, she tells me that the bill of assurance has been amended. I've not received a copy of it. I've asked her for a copy of it. I know that City Council doesn't necessarily enforce bills of assurance or anything like that, but it just feels a little, I don't know. I don't want to say underhanded because I have great admiration for Lisa and Jim, But I asked her at our meeting, you know, can I get a copy of that bill of assurance? I have yet to receive it. I think Adam met with them as well and said, you know, you may need to let the neighborhood know about this bill of assurance that's been amended. So, you know, I don't want to say underhanded, but it just
I got you.
It feels a
I
little
see.
funny. It was, the bill of assurance was amended 30 minutes before the planning commission meeting that discussed this. The other thing I had a question about is site plan review. Do we go through that process again? I know that planning
Don?
commission has looked at site plan review.
Don? Yeah, go ahead and answer the question.
Yeah, at the moment, nothing has changed. So because it's R4, if there's some changes, it's going to have to come back through.
Okay,
But
so,
at the moment, we're not at that point. We're talking about a rezoning right now.
right, okay, so if it does rezone from R2 to R4, are you guys going to look at the site plan again in light of that zoning?
We've approved one, and if the rezoning doesn't allow it, then they can't build it.
Okay.
So but we haven't seen, you know, nothing's been studied on that at that point, but it's going to meet all the ordinances.
Okay, I would like to see explanations about why they were allowed to have parking in the buffer zone from C6 when this was C6 and Planning Commission approved it. I'd also like to see, you know, explanations about why the River Road Overlay District does not apply to multifamily residences. And, you know, we've been told that it applies only to single-family and duplexes. And I feel that's a little disingenuous because there's nothing in the language that says this only applies to single-family or duplexes.
I'm going to
It
ask this
says
to move
residential
along if you don't
buildings.
mind. I appreciate it.
I'm sorry?
I'm going to ask this to go ahead and move along, please, if you don't mind.
Okay,
So
okay,
hang
that's
on.
fine.
Right while you're there, I've got on my list here, Steve Winchester. Do you want to add anything different to this? And then there is Regina. Is there Regina Salinger? Go ahead, Steve.
Hello, Mayor.
How you doing, sir?
Steve Winchester, City Council, thank you for hearing us today. The concern, I'm going to piggyback on the previous speaker here. One of the concerns that, as a resident of the Porches, that I have is unfulfilled expectations. I don't know if it's with I don't believe it's with this council. It may be with the variance board, but there is things slipping through the cracks that is causing our development to not be what it could be, should be, or we were told it was going to be. And therefore, it's very disappointing, and I would caution everyone here to make sure that you understand that, yes, the property owner can do what he or she would like to do with that property. However, there has to be safeguards put in place to make sure that this development meets the guidelines by the bill of assurance that we all bought our property by virtue of what that bill of assurance said. Who is the governing body to make sure that these bill of assurances or building codes are met and that things are not changed without proper notification? How would that work, Mayor?
That's something you have to take up with your POA, with your board, and then you guys have to go to the courthouse across the river.
To the courthouse.
Right, that is, bills of assurance are not enforced by the city. They're enforced by the property owners who benefit from the bill of assurance. But we're not in the, we don't have any standing to enforce a bill of assurance.
Yes, but when there's a site plan that's presented, and then variance after variance after variance after variance is pushed through without proper notification, is that not? Maybe it's not a bill of assurance issue, but it certainly is a code issue, I would think.
Now, I don't know about variances being pushed through without proper notification. Variances go through the Board of Adjustment, and property is required to be posted for 14 days. Newspaper publication is required at least 10 days in advance, and all neighbors within, is it 200 feet? All abutting neighbors are entitled to have either hand-delivered or certified mail notice of any variances. So we don't do variances without notice. Variances go to the Board of Adjustment.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. All right, everybody, I'm going to ask if there's any more people who'd like to speak for or against this at this public hearing. And if you're not, I'm going to adjourn this public hearing. So, anybody else?
Got one coming.
Is he? Okay. Come on.
My name is Dale Humphrey. I live at 1529 Rockwater Lane.
Yes, sir.
I moved here about a year ago. I have to excuse my northern accent. I might be hard to understand.
You are. Dadgum.
No
I'm
doubt.
teasing. I'm teasing. Go ahead.
I could
Speak
say,
into the
I
mic,
could
though, if you
finish
don't-
all my sentences with A if you want me to. Anyway, we're grateful, I believe, we're grateful for the leadership that the developer provided in getting us to this point. But she's not Rockwater. We are. You are, all of you. She has a financial interest. We have a vested interest. This is our community. As Steve Winchester alluded to, there was ideas floated, my understanding, talking to neighbors, about condominiums and walkable space and shops and, you know, places we could sit down and have coffee or buy some groceries. None of that is going to happen with this development. And I understand you can do anything you want, except have a hog farm, right, Mr. Taylor?
Right.
Well, that was my idea. I wanted to have a hog farm from Iowa. Anyway, I want you to know that the owners in Rockwater collectively pay $171,336 every year to service debt for the infrastructure in Rockwater. The owners are paying for Rockwater infrastructure. They will pay that debt until 2034. It's in your financial records for this city. We all vote. Apartment dwellers, they come, they go. You hardly know them. They don't vote. They don't pay taxes. They tend to be disinterested parties. We don't really want that kind of community. I'd have notes here. I don't want to take up much more time, but one thing, there is an urgent health and safety issue in that neighborhood. The recovery centers have been vandalized upon vandalization. There's people in there every night. It can't be boarded up. It gets opened up all the time. Same with the blue building. They're uninhabitable at this point because all the air conditioners and everything else have been removed or stolen or whatever. So I think that the way to solve this isn't necessarily a development to solve this health and safety issue. I think some consideration should be given to condemning the property and having those buildings removed.
Thank you.
That's all I have to say.
Appreciate it. I'm asking again, is anybody like to speak for or against this thing at the public hearing? If not, I'm going to adjourn it. This public hearing is adjourned. Ms. Whitby, I've lost track. Where are we?
It's been read 3 times, it's been amended, and there are no motions pending to adopt.
So move.
There's a motion to adopt and second it.
Okay. Is there any discussion? On the motion, Ross?
Mr. Hamilton?
I came here tonight prepared with a whole list of residents who were like, we are not opposed, and I could read them because I've saved them all, and I've responded to, I think, all of them because there were a lot. And I really tried to listen to everyone who emailed in and who were almost every single one of them was like, we are not opposed to the development. I mean, even I want it all to remain green space or something else. That's what I want too. But all of them mentioned, we just don't want the R4 to go to R6. Or C6, I apologize, R4 to C6. Just about every single one of them, or a lot of them, said R4 provides the buffer that we need. And for 20 years, working for city or for newspapers, I go to city council meetings and I hear people who are like, we don't want them to cut those trees down. Neither do I. I don't want that. That's not what we don't have a say in whether or not they cut those trees down unless in the site plan there's a buffer issue. But I'm grateful that we have this compromise where that huge section of R4 isn't becoming C6. And from everything I've heard, that was the main thing. And I just have to say that I'm grateful for that compromise. And that's why I will be voting to approve.
There's a motion on the floor, and I think there was a second.
Yeah, on the motion to adopt as amended, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
I'll be recusing myself.
Okay. Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Motion carries. On the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
And Mayor, did you want to take just a brief recess to allow
I do.
people to leave if they
I'm
want
going to ask everyone if you'd like to leave or you want to stay, you can. I'm going to give a brief recess. Thank you all very much for your time.
And you guys, if you're leaving, please go outside. Don't leave and stay. We got the rest of the
We're
meeting.
going to take if y'all would mind, I'm going to take a 5-minute recess. I'll bring us back here in just a sec, okay? Thank you very much.
Don't leave and stay.
Man.
A break too. Are we taking a break?
Ian, thank you. Again, thanks for coming tonight. All right, let's go. All
Yeah.
right, let's go.
Councilmember Taylor.
An ordinance waiving section 6.2.4.b of the zoning ordinance, ordinance number 9263, for certain real property located at 110 South Beach Street in the city of North Little Rock, Pulaski County, Arkansas, declaring an emergency.
Second.
Motion suspended, seconded.
On the motion, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton? Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Here she comes.
And Height?
So moved.
Okay. Okay, on the motion to adopt, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton? Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann? And Height? On the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton? Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann? And Height?
Yes.
Okay. O 2270, Councilmember Robinson.
Please call it.
An ordinance granting a special use to allow the sale of dirt for 3 years in an R2 zone for certain real property located at 12602 Faulkner Lake Road in the city of North Little Rock, Arkansas.
Move to suspend all reading.
Second.
Motion suspended, seconded.
Okay, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton? Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Let me ask, is Mr. Middleton here?
He is.
Rick, come on, I thought
Is
so.
there a motion to adopt
Please
first?
go ahead,
So
just hang on
moved.
for me for a sec.
Second.
I've got a question I've got to ask you, if you don't mind. May I beg the difference of the council? You're hauling dirt from this piece of property and you're taking it someplace, correct?
Yes.
Your time frame would be, how long will you be doing this?
3 years.
I know, I'm asking. 3
Going for
years.
3 years. you
All
know.
right, the last time this happened was about, I don't know, several years ago. I was not even mayor at that time, but I went out to
3 years
Stone.
ago.
Huh?
About 3 years ago.
About 3. So here's the deal. When that gets all muddy and dirt everywhere, you gonna keep it clean for me?
Great.
The street?
The road, the
About
street,
Faulkner
yes, sir.
Lake Road.
Because when it was there before, I'd go out there, because I was Parks Director at that time, and I'd see dirt everywhere. So the question is, and if you don't mind, council, I'm just asking, if we start seeing dirt built up, and we're trying to do a lot of good things out of the Stone Links with Faulkner Lake Road, these people are very responsible in our council. Who do I call?
Well, if there's a tailgate open, there's dirt unloaded on the road, I'll do it. As far as dust, I mean.
No, I'm not talking about
the.
the dust, I'm talking about it's about to rain 3 or 4, 5, 6 straight days, you're still, then you get it, and then you
Oh, you're
start.
talking about tracking mud?
Yeah, tracking mud,
Oh.
anything, that's what I'm really asking for, yes, sir.
Well, that's part of the solving that problem is part of, I asked Sean in planning if I could have at least a year, because it's gonna take a while to pave that. I'm gonna pave it from Faulkner up to that tree break. So they'll have, that's a good quarter mile or better. So if that mud ain't off there by then, you know, I mean,
Well, what is that, is it asphalt road now?
no, it's concrete
It's
waste.
concrete?
Concrete waste.
I wanted to ask the question. I want everybody to know that what you're going to do is, when you're hauling this out, and I remember seeing it last time, it wasn't you, I know who it was. We're just going to take care of it. So
If there's mud on the road, I'll take care of it.
That's all I wanted to hear. Ms. Ross.
Well, that was my number one question, is the tracking mud, you know, because I know, Sean, sometimes, you know, they're required to put down gravel or whatever before they pull out into the street. Is that correct? And is that what they'll do here too, until he gets it paved or
Thanks,
whatever?
Mr. Baxter?
Well, I just know that,
I'm
you know,
not through.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, I apologize. I thought you were. Excuse me. Ms. Ross has still got another question.
Okay, so the hours of operations from 6 to 8, Monday through Saturday. Can you go back? I mean, it's right, I mean, there's houses right there. I mean, that noise, I mean, you can't even have a Saturday off from the trucks moving.
I'm not working Saturdays.
Well, I mean, because it's in the legislation, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Take out that Saturday?
I have not, no, I'll be open I plan on being open Monday to Friday, or Monday through Friday, 7 to 4.
Oh, well,
Saturday is a spring deal. I'll be open half a day on Saturday for people doing work in their yards.
okay, so can we make those, I mean, it's your legislation, can we make those changes then? I mean, those hours?
So you're in agreement with from 7 to 4, is that what you're saying?
7 to 4, Monday through Friday, and then it'd be 7 to noon on Saturday during the spring, during the
Doing the dirt selling season.
Everybody getting out doing spring
know what-
cleaning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody? May I now?
Do we
Ms.
need
Ross?
an amendment for that?
Yep.
7 to 4, Monday through Friday, and then 7 to 12 on Saturdays.
Okay.
Right.
Me.
So move.
Linda, go ahead. And unless,
Ms. Ross?
no, I'm okay with leaving that on Saturday unless that, there's neighbors complaining or whatever. I like my Saturdays. I like to sleep in. I don't want to hear dump trucks moving, at 7 o'clock on Saturday morning, so.
You yield to Mr. Baxter?
Oh, okay, I'm
Baxter.
done.
Well, my question is, I understand that part of it is for the homeowner, gardening, whatever, throwing out some new sod, whatever kind of thing, I'm guessing. Am I putting words into your mouth, or is that an accurate statement? For the one piece of you selling dirt?
I'm selling dirt to create a pond for my family farm to build a house over there.
Okay, so I would just like council to know that we had an individual who sold, whatever. I don't want to say rock, I don't want to say dirt, because what they did is they cut into that side of that hill. They managed that hill, right? But I can tell you from that property, all the way through part of Burns Park, down MacArthur, and again, if you're just removing dirt, that's a little bit different, but I can tell you that MacArthur from that location is not like it used to be. Now, again, it perhaps is a different type of material, but I can just tell you, that we are still having some issues with that.
This is Faulkner Lake Road.
Rick?
I understand.
Oh,
But
okay.
I've got
I
Rick
thought
is-
he was thinking I was
No,
out
no,
MacArthur.
He was saying MacArthur. Long story short, Rick has been on record right now saying, and I've got code enforcement, you're gonna keep it clean. We've got the problems,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Is there an amendment or a
There was
motion
a
for?
There's a motion and second on the
Second.
amendment.
Motion and a
Yes,
second
there
on the
is.
amendment.
Well, Linda did,
Are you ready for the roll to be called on the motion?
on the amendment.
Yes, on the amendment, yes.
On the motion to amend, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton? Yes. Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Is there a new motion to adopt?
So move,
Second.
as amended.
Okay.
Thank you.
Motion adopted as amended and seconded. Go.
Ready. Okay, on the motion to adopt as amended, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton? Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
On the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton? Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris? Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
And Mr. Middleton, you will need to come to the city clerk's office to get a business license for this business you're going to be operating.
When can I do that?
When can you do that, Sean? I mean, is
Be here
there
at
any,
8:30 in
is
the morning
there
if you
any
can, between
restriction that
tomorrow,
he?
please. Okay, we'll take any time.
Okay.
You don't want this, do you?
Okay.
Thank you, Rick.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Rick.
O
Thank y'all.
2271, Councilmember Taylor.
Please call it.
An ordinance granting a conditional use to allow an auto sales lot in C4 zone for certain real property located at 1815 East Broadway Street in the city of North Little Rock, Arkansas.
Move to suspend the readings.
Second.
On the motion, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton? Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Is there a motion to adopt?
So move.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
There is, Mr. Baxter.
Is this going to be a 24/7 operation?
No.
I didn't see any hours listed, that's why I'm asking.
You like it?
Sure.
If you like, you can put hours on it.
Is the applicant here?
I was gonna say. is the
Veronica
applicant here?
Edwards?
Well, now, we don't want them selling, open at
Miss-
11 and 12 at night.
Councilmember Baxter, the Planning Commission usually adds that to protect neighbors, and there's no neighbors in this situation that the hours of operation are Okay, going to affect. cool. Like houses, neighbors. So that
I'm
was the
sure
reason, that was the reason it didn't get included this time.
Well, we don't want them selling cars at 10 o'clock at night on East Broadway. We have people doing some after-hour stuff at a car place on East Broadway. So we can put some hours of operations on them. Are they here?
Veronica Edwards, Brooks Autoplex, are you here?
Does this have to be done tonight, or you want to hold it to make contact?
You're going to hold it?
Looks like we're gonna hold it.
We'll hold it.
Okay. O-2272, Councilmember Hamilton.
Yes, Steve.
An ordinance rezoning certain property located at 2120 Main Street in the city of North Little Rock, Arkansas from C4 to C6 zoning classification by amending ordinance number 9263.
First reading.
Second.
Okay, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton? Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Just one quick question. Why are we going from a 4 to a 6?
3 to 6.
From a 3 to a 6.
3 to 6.
C3 to 6.
Says C3
Why are we
here.
going, okay, why are we going from a 3 to a 6?
And the applicant is here, Mr. Penny.
3.
3.
3 on here.
6.
Okay, so this piece of property is along the Main Street corridor. The applicant has, sometimes he has a business person in there, it's a house. Sometimes he has a renter in there. He's been renting it to renters who live there. He's been renting it to businesses who operate businesses out of there. And like many other houses and businesses along that corridor, it's come to his attention that it wasn't zoned for that, so it's an appropriate use along the Main Street corridor. So I told him I would sponsor it, thinking that it fits the community at best, since we have other residences and, commercial along there.
It's fine, yeah.
No,
I know, Ms. Ross?
No, I had the same question. I was just having Mr. Penny.
Well,
What-
I think it's fine right now, don't y'all? So,
No, I was gonna
you
ask
want to
you.
say anything, Butch? Or you want us to vote?
You what?
You want us to say, you want to say anything, you want us to vote?
What plans you have for the property?
No, I've taken it to the planning commission. They passed it unanimously.
Yep.
I'll let you vote on it.
Thank you.
Okay, are you ready?
It's Mr.
Councilmember Ross, are you ready? Or did
Well,
you?
Yes, we're
Ready?
ready.
She had a question that wasn't answered, is why I'm asking.
Right, she had asked him what his intended use of was of the property, and that, I don't know, it might have got lost in translation.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking is we've been doing a lot of work along Main Street there, trying to improve Main Street, and we're doing as much as we can. And Dr. Bennett here, I know that she's been doing a lot of work in this area in Mid-City. So I was just curious, what are the plans for the property?
I can't hear good.
Sean, can you repeat for me?
Yeah. What are your plans for the property?
Just
Good talking to the speaker.
I've owned it for like 30 years, and I rented it to people that had businesses in there and lived in there at the same time. And it came to my attention the first of this year. I just want to get it legal.
I called him when I saw that somebody was selling something out of it, and it wasn't zoned properly. So
Okay.
now we're finally getting it. Mr. Hamilton
Okay.
took care of it.
Okay, well, I just hope we keep it really nice, because I know Dr. Bennett's doing a lot of work, and it would go a long ways having that one fixed up.
Okay, on the motion to adopt, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton? Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yeah.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
On the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton? Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yeah.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
O-2273, Councilmember Robinson?
Please call it.
An ordinance vacating and abandoning a certain unused easement on property located at 3310 East Broadway Street in the city of North Little Rock, Arkansas.
First
Move
reading. First
move to
reading.
suspend all readings.
Okay, on the motion, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton? Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Is there a motion to adopt?
So
Is
move.
Second.
there any discussion? On the motion, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton? Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
On the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton? Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
An ordinance vacating and abandoning certain rights of way located southwest of the intersection of Rockwater Boulevard and Pike Avenue. First reading.
Move to suspend the readings.
Second.
On the motion, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton? Yes. Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Is there a motion to adopt?
So move.
Second.
Did Mr. Day yield to all this? He was here to speak.
Yes, he said that he was going to yield
Okay,
this
gotcha.
time.
All right, thank you.
Councilmember Ross
I
has.
see Ms. Ross,
okay.
I'm sorry. Go
No, is Chris Wilburn here? Because I had questions
Chris?
about
Yeah,
as far
he's
as the
back.
bike trail and what's this going
Chris?
to do, and is this going to impact it in any way? Come on down, Chris. No, one of the questions, and this is a question that someone had asked me, is this going to have any impact on the bike trail, that we're putting along Pike Avenue? What are we doing? Basically, can you just kind of explain so people can understand how this is going to impact the trails?
I'm just going to.
Will it cut off
Yeah.
access, will it cut off access to the trail? So,
I'm going to let Thomas add to what I'm going to say, but basically, currently, the trail is starting from north of the roundabout going up to 13th Street.
correct.
And currently, the planned new development has a place for the trail to go from the roundabout tying into the river trail, which is a goal of the whole project. So it's goal of the planned development along Pike. And Thomas, if you got anything to add and show them exactly.
That's about it. Do you want me to show you where it's going?
Sure. You
Okay.
got a pointer?
He just wants to.
Can you give me
Sean
a
has
bigger picture, Sean? Thanks.
Where you want
All
the
right.
area?
That's good enough. So right there is where it stops with Pike as you're doing right now. So we're going to take it right down Pike just like that. We're going to widen the road, make a 12-foot bike-only trail and connect right there into your bike trail. So it's kind of a straight shot right down Pike and connect to the bike trail right there.
Okay. So it's
That's a
gonna-
requirement that we have to follow.
So it's going to improve it, basically, the bike
Ma'am.
trail then?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
that's what
We're
it
gonna
is. So
widen
it's
the
an
road and
improvement
everything.
for bike trail.
It's a
Okay.
pedestrian bike trail.
Okay, so this has nothing to do with any of the entrances or exits to the apartment complex, correct?
Yep.
It's strictly for, okay.
Mr. Baxter?
And at 12 feet, I would assume that there would be bollards up there, especially as close to the roundabout as it's going to be, to ensure that we have no vehicular traffic that attempts to go that direction.
Yeah, just like we plan to do on the other side.
Okay.
Thank you.
Where is this again? Where, is that the roundabout up, or is that the roundabout? Is that the roundabout right there?
We just did rezoning on that.
I know,
That's
I'm
the-
just looking, okay, yeah. And then, first of all, Chris, you gotta know too, and this changes subject, but the bicycle trail from the marina on out to the pump track looks really good too, by the way. Okay. Now, one last question on the same deal. The money they spent along Pike, that was a grant, explain that to me one more time, I just.
Right, it's a federal RDOT FHWA grant. 80% of it is funded federally, 20% is a local match, city match.
And to where? I mean,
Well, it goes up to 13th right now. The plan is to keep extending it on up.
Y'all seen it?
Yes,
It's-
we've all seen it.
What? Okay. Yeah.
Eventually, the overall plan eventually is to tie that trail into the Levy Trail, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Takes time. Takes
Anything else,
years.
anybody?
On the motion to adopt, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann? And Height?
Yes.
On the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Concludes new business.
Is there any more members have any comments? What'd
Do you want
say?
to mention the special election?
I'm going to, but
Okay.
just, yeah, I've got, and I think I have Miss Marie Holloway, she'd like to come
Oh,
forward.
I'm sorry, yes.
Yeah, I got Marie here. Marie? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Marie Hollowell. I live at 12709 Faulkner Lake Road. Just two things, and when I was listening to the Middletons tonight, I realized that somebody's already out on Faulkner Lake Road digging dirt, hauling it out, the mayor mentioned about the street and the dirt. They're not, I don't think they have a business license to do that. I don't know if it's gone through the planning committee, but Mr. Middleton does not own that property yet. And so I didn't know if I needed to start somewhere else to discuss that, but they are not taking care of the road anymore as they had agreed to it once. But the other thing, the biggest thing, the reason I wanted to say something, because I wanted to publicly thank Mayor Hartwick and Linda Robinson and Maurice Taylor for the work that they did to get Faulkner Lake Road repaired. We are so happy for that, and we had an excellent time this morning with the groundbreaking. And I've had so many residents to reach out to me and I just wanted to express my thanks to you all
Thank you, Marie.
publicly.
Appreciate it. Anybody else here? Hang on one second before we adjourn. Thank you, Marie. Bo, come on up here. Bo's leaving us. Bo, if you don't mind, sir. I know it. I hate it too, but here he is.
Yes, sir.
Tell me what you're doing.
I'm
I'm going to call them and tell them what a lousy fireman you are.
Yes, sir. Bittersweet. I'm retiring after 28 years Friday, and we'll be taking a new position as Fire Chief of Mole Mill Fire Department.
Oh, wow.
It is bittersweet. This is my childhood city. This is where I went to school my whole life, lived my whole life, and so it is with a heavy heart that I am leaving. And I thank you for everybody here for supporting the fire department and everything that we've tried to do over the years. I'm very grateful for being a part of this city for so long, and will still be a part of the city.
I want you to do one more thing for me.
Yes, sir.
What are we trying to do August 9th?
I'm sorry.
What are we trying to do August 9th?
I'm hoping we are going to continue promises made, promises kept, continuation tax, so we can build a new central fire station. The station that we have is in desperate need of repair, but the better solution is to get a new station. 1962, and it is in grave need of repair. So the easier solution is to build us a new station.
It's a good thing you're leaving. You couldn't say that unless you were leaving. You know that, don't you? But thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for everything. All right, guys. Anything?
Motion to adjourn?
Wait
a minute. Mr. Baxter?
I rescind that motion.
He rescind.
In 12 minutes, my Marcos is going to be here. Can we wait another 12 minutes?
No.
Okay.
On the motion to adjourn, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height.
Thank you, Councilman, tonight. Good meeting. Thank you all very much.